Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today for My Captain Power Talks on how to build a career in creative writing. My Captain Power Talks is powered by QFIS. What is QFIS? QFIS provides an interactive cloud based on demand mentorship platform which acts as a one stop hassle free solutions to have conversations with industry leaders. So, QFIS offers a complete set of tools such as hosting skills, knowledge based workshops, and coaching, which enhances the skills of individuals. So, it is more of a safe space outside your office or public space where you get insight from leaders who have traveled the same path that you're about to take. And today we have our guest speaker, Mrs. Dhwani Sangani. We are very glad to welcome you. Welcome you,
Thank you.
who is one of the very passionate caption creators, founder of Captionwala. She spots one call as a perfect, authentic caption creator that can be seen in aiming for her clients by curating captions to build their brand presence on platforms such as Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and so on. She carries a vivid experience of having worked with more than 25 plus companies, ranging from small startups to large companies. So, we would like to hear about your ghostwriting experiences and keen to listen to your insights, ma'am. So, by not wasting much of our time and handing over this session to you, ma'am.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you for inviting me over here. And let's hope this session is too fruitful for everyone watching.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Yeah.
So, as discussed earlier, as mentioned, we'll be talking and discussing about how to build a career in creative writing. So, ma'am, moving on with the first question. You have an
Okay.
educational background in engineering. How and when did you realize that you wanted to pivot to creative writing as a career?
Okay. So this is like I have been a writer since like childhood. So I had this habit of maintaining a diary. So that diary had various thoughts and everything, whatever I saw around, and I used to just scribble it down. And then later on, engineering was like you cannot be a writer. I didn't know that time that you can be a writer as well. So I pursued engineering, and then I had diverse jobs as well after that. I landed three corporate jobs, but out of which I started on one. I was a project manager over there, and then after working for 1.5 years, I switched to being a counselor, education counselor. And then I got like I got married, and then after my marriage, yeah, you there?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So this is post my marriage. I had to do something like you know starting in a new city, and you had to have something which can like you can start on your own, and writing then struck me. I started writing a blog, and that blog got noticed by ad agency in Ahmedabad. So that ad agency called me up, and they told me that will you be writing for us? And that was when I started writing. And then later on, step by step, I went into this field of extensive writing, ghost writing, creative writing, and everything.
Very, very inspiring journey, ma'am. Very inspiring journey. And I'm sure we all at our age, we maintain diaries and yeah, we pen our thoughts, write articles.
Yeah, everyone do.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But yours is very interesting story, ma'am, to be honest. From an
thank
engineering
you.
background to creative writing, it definitely it's a wide variations to explain. Yeah. So, ma'am,
Yeah.
you're the founder of Captionwala,
Mhm,
which is a platform that
mhm.
helps create customized captions for social media posts. Could you talk a bit more about the work you do?
Yeah, so basically, I was into ghost writing. So when I used to write, I was a bit bored of writing long form content, which had web copies and like everything, articles and blogs and everything. So then an idea struck me that why not create a content like a micro piece of content, which is uh, it can be written soon, and whenever some idea strikes you can just jot it down, and then later on you can edit and then you can work on it. So that made me work on something called Captionwala. I had to, two days I had, and in those 2 days I just decided a name. I searched for the domain and I got the domain name, and then I registered it, and then Captionwala started. So it was all, just to get rid of the long form content and just to enter the short form industry where micro copies are today's demand and need. As you see, Twitter is all about it. So I just started writing captions, and soon it became a blog where, like, a full directory of captions. Now it has more than 10,000 captions on it. And on various platforms, you can search Pinterest, you can search YouTube. Earlier used to be on TikTok as well, but since it's banned now, I'm not on it. Instagram, I'm there. So it just started as a hobby. I just started it as a hobby, that I don't want to go into long form. I just want to go into short form, and I'll be writing something which is, needed by everyone. You just go on, everyone, like basic search queries, Hindi captions. Then they search for Teddy Day captions, IPL captions, Mumbai Indian captions. So all these things, Game of Thrones captions. So all these things are something related, and this is very exciting field as well. That you get to create content which you love, and that's what makes it more enticing. So that is why Captionwala exists, and that is what Captionwala does.
Yes.
Like they provide, like we provide social media captions to even brands and influencers and people who just want to get started. They just want to like build a brand of them on any social platform. We just help them out, curate content for them, and then they are good to go.
Yes, ma'am. So, ma'am, to make one point clear, I had a doubt. Like, for the we search captions for Instagram, short and sweet. So, you tell that is being like done by you, like you add on to the captions what is existing there, right?
Yeah. So see, there are basic search queries on Google, right?
True.
Whatever you search on Google. So, for example, if you search what is Google, so the top three results are what would entice you to click on it, right?
True.
So
True.
I have been writing as well as putting my like making sure that I put my website on the first three page, like first three results, where it's clickable for people to at least go and visit, and they like it. And I was surprised that whenever IPL happens, my website is at number one rank for it. Like
Wow.
whenever somebody needs to search for any IPL captions, they are just going to go to Captionwala, and they're just searching on it for the same.
That's really nice, ma'am. That's really nice.
Yeah.
Overwhelming to hear and overwhelming to take for you as well, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, actually, I didn't know that it would like just strike up. And even when I search hashtag IPL captions, and I see my like Captionwala's caption in every profile. Wherever you go and search on Instagram, people are just taking the caption over there, like from Captionwala, they are just posting on their Instagram profile, and even they are using the hashtags. Like I provide hashtags as well with the captions. So
Okay.
even they take the entire lot of hashtags from my website and they just go and put it on their post. And I can see that. I can see how people are responding to those captions as well. So it's pretty good, you just know that your work is going good. Like people are
Definitely.
liking it.
True, ma'am. True.
Yeah.
It's so nice and so nice to see your excitement and passion towards your work, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much.
When you're assigned a project, how do you plan and organize your work, ma'am?
Okay, so whenever I start, like we start with a call. So that call lasts for about 30 to 45 minutes, like depending on the genre on niche on which I'm working, for any health expert or for any hotelier. So it depends accordingly, and I have a question set ready. Like after so many years of experience, I have these questions ready in my mind what to ask to which client. So I just go on asking, I just go on jotting down points that what all they require, how are they going to, like, what are they looking for? Why they are coming to a copywriter or to a content writer to get their content written. They must need something which they are not able to do or they are not able to convey. So that's where you need to just pick that point up, that what are they looking for. Now, not only this, that I need a content writer. That's not the thing. They need something, and you have to just point it out what they need, what they want, and you have to give the solution as the solution should be as in like they are satisfied and they know that yeah, this is what I wanted and this is what I got. So the process would begin from research. First, you get on a call with the client. Then you ask them questions. If you are not aware what questions to ask, you just take some time. You just ask for some time. You research on their topic, what their niche is about. Then you jot down the questions, and then you start asking the answers. If they are not aware, you can have so many competitors' website as well. You have so many competitors, you can just go and ask any, or you can just visit the competitors. You can know that what is going on over there, how you can provide something better to your client who's coming to your service, like to take your service, and then just go with it, and then just take your time, write your draft, edit it if required, then go to your client, ask them if this is what they require, and the work will go on. This is the common procedure, like a common process, I would say.
Very well explained, ma'am. It was very much understandable. Yeah. Uh,
Yeah.
so, what is the one project you have worked on which was creatively stimulating and memorable for you as a writer? What lessons did you learn, ma'am?
So I remember this was, I guess, in the second year of my writing. Like it's been
Second
five
year?
years now. It's
Okay,
been
second
5 years
year.
since I'm writing.
Hmm.
So I guess in 2018, I guess. So I had this Airbnb's project. So it was a it's a bulk project wherein I had to list down more than 25 properties a day for Airbnb. And I had to write, I had to visit every place. I had to get to know the culture over there. I had to get to know the hotel about the property about which I was writing. And then I had to go and start writing it down. So at that time, I thought that no, I cannot write more than 2,000 words per day. But that single property had 400 words. So I used to
Okay.
write more than 25 properties per day. So that was an experience which actually I got to test my limits as well. That yes, a writer can go beyond you are extended. Like if you're given a time, am I audible?
Yes, ma'am, you are audible.
Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am, you are audible.
Yeah. This just states that if you're given 3 hours, you will work. You will complete the work in 3 hours. If you're given 10 hours, you will complete the work in 10 hours. So it's just on you, and it's just that you can do anything if you put your heart and mind on it. So that was a phase I remember that I was a bit proud of myself that yes, I can write more than uh, like so many words a day.
That
Yeah.
is very great to know, ma'am. So, you feel that deadlines do put a lot of effort on you, or it's just that your mindset that to complete a particular project or the deadlines? What keeps you motivating, ma'am?
No, deadlines are necessary. See,
Okay.
some deadlines are necessary because you do not feel a push. Sometimes you're just too lazy. You know you can do a certain work in a certain period of time, but you're too lazy, too laid back to just go and do it.
True.
But with deadlines, you know that you have an authority. You are liable to someone who's waiting at the other end to deliver the product. So you are liable to someone, so you are bound to follow the deadline, and it's a win-win. You get free, you get paid, and the client gets happy, and you get the testimonial.
True.
Yeah.
Yes, yes, ma'am. Very well explained. So moving on, ma'am.
Thank
As of
you.
now, we don't have any questions. Audience, you could ping your questions in the Q&A sections, and ma'am will definitely answer that. Yes, ma'am. Yeah. So, ma'am, what advice would you give to someone who is starting out in the field of creative writing with no prior experience at all? So, what type of written material should they include in their portfolio?
A writer, if you are a writer, just don't think about it. Put your first post over there. And there are so many platforms available right now, be it LinkedIn or Twitter. Start with any platform you wish to start with, even Facebook, and just write it out. Like so many people hesitate that what if nobody reads it? So like what if nobody sees it? Nobody acknowledges it. But again, Rome wasn't built in a day, and neither does nobody knows you exist, right? You need to put yourself out over there. You need to let people know that you exist, and then you can ask people that yes, like you can go and ask them to review your product or review your writing, review your writer, and then tell them that like you are keen to know more, you're keen to learn more, and then you can just start on any project. So you can start with Medium as well. If you have any point or any topic in mind, you can start writing on Medium. That's a very great platform for writers to start with. And also you can just like right now you must be knowing Clubhouses just on the talks right now. So even Clubhouse, you can just go and start speaking over there. So while speaking, you get to know what all things are going around, and there are various niches over there. So you can just select your niche and check what's going around and put your thoughts on it, and then just have a draft of it and go and post it on any medium and start writing. That's one point. And when you talk about a portfolio, so portfolio should have diverse writing skills of yours. Right from a product description to a long form content. Long form content would include articles, in-depth articles, well researched blogs, and then even if you have experiences in designing infographics. So when you have a portfolio, you should have everything. Like you should have a product description, you should have like a social media exposure post, like where you can say people that yes, you have interacted interacted in social media with social media people over there. And then you can have web content copies over there. So you can have various, and whatever you feel that yes, this is the piece where you can just show it, you can just start with. So you should have it in your profile. Like I remember I got I can say a simple like a client told me to design hashtags for their wedding. So
Okay.
they had this wedding, cousin's wedding. So they asked me to design hashtags for the couple. So can you imagine a writer can include that in their profile, that they design hashtags also. You must be seeing various weddings happening and they have their particular hashtags, in the weddings. So I have designed hashtags as well for some of the couples. So this is also something which comes in writing as well these days. So you can have diverse skills of yours mentioned in your portfolio. It would just be an add-on in it.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for that valuable inputs that you gave. On this question, I would ask you one more, like adding on its very relative question, where you say that you write hashtags also, but when we are posting some post on Instagram with captions, we add hashtag also. So why is it necessary, ma'am? Like, how is it correlated to you in your words, if you could say? How is there any correlation between captions and hashtag?
No. Like, see, I used to post it on my website just for people to get everything on one post only. Like, they
Okay.
get the images, they get the captions, then they get like any additional material, like they get music as well on some post of on some post of Caption Wala. I have mentioned a music list as well. Like, for example, Holi. So I have had a holy list of music. So they
Okay.
can just go on my post and they can have everything related to Holi on my post only. So that is an add-on for them. They need not to go and search for anything anywhere else. So like this happens. So that's why I thought that why not hashtags also? Like it would make work for like easier for people. They just need to come down to my this thing blog. They just need to take the caption, like add in something if they want in the caption, and then they can just take the hashtags, the whole bunch of hashtags, and they can just put it out. They need not to type it out that holy 2021. I
True.
have everything ready on my blog. You just come and copy and just paste it on. Yeah, see that's a task these days, right?
True.
So
True.
I just it isn't related, I would say, but I just posted that everything they get it on my blog only.
Correct.
So
Got your
I
point.
just made my blog stand out for that purpose.
Got it.
Yeah. And
Got
yeah,
it.
hashtags do help in reach. Yeah,
Okay.
hashtags, if like if you ask from a marketer's point of view, it helps in reaching out. Like when you when you have a certain hashtag, so you can just go and see people who have posted on that particular hashtag, so that increases your reach as well. If people like your content, if they're just surfing across the hashtags, they can if they like your content, they'll see you there and they'll follow you. So that's a win-win for you as well.
Yes. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for clarifying that. Ma'am, we have two follow-up questions. We'll take
Yeah.
it. Anonymous attendee has asked,
Mhm.
what is more important, maintaining a personal blog or blogging on other websites? What is more important, ma'am?
I would say a combination of both. Like I would say that if you are see, it's very simple. If you have a shop, if you own a shop, and if your shop is outside your city, it's outside your city, and you're just waiting and expecting customers to just turn in. Like, is it going to happen? Nobody knows about it. Nobody knows that your shop exists. So it's not going to happen. So same as your blog, that if you have a blog and if you're not marketing it, if you're not telling people about it, so nobody is going to come and visit, and then you cannot just say that it didn't work, so I just stopped blogging. So that's why have your blog, but also make sure that you like other people know that your blog exists. Make sure that you have a certain authority and certain following on your blog. So for that, the other blogging websites help you, like Medium. So take suppose you have written 500 word long article. Just take a small snippet out of it, post it on Medium, and then post your link over there. And then it's very easy that they'll redirect it to your blog. So that would be helpful to you in two ways. You'll be having an audience in Medium, and you will be having a redirected audience to your blog.
Yes, ma'am.
So that's a win-win, and that helps. That helps both, like maintaining your blog as well, and you need not to write extra. You are just putting out what you have already written in diverse platforms, and you need to do that right now. It's essential because creators, they are just putting out content every day, every hour, I would say, and you are just going to see people writing and writing. So for you to stand out, you just need to be there on every platform if possible.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for clarifying the doubts, and I hope it has helped. Uh, Ma'am, there's one more question by Pinky Agal. Ma'am, how much experience we have? Ma'am, how much experience we have in writing field, and how much maybe for you, how much experience you have in writing field, and I want to write script of films
Uh-huh.
and all in that directions. Which things I should follow?
Okay, I have 5 years experience, I would say. Like if you count my blog as well, so I would say I have 5 years experience in writing. And in writing, I have written so far articles, blogs, and then social media posts, web copies, LinkedIn posts, then ebooks, and then product descriptions, properties, various properties. And for screenwriting, script writing, I'm not sure I'm the one answerable because I haven't written one. but I am sure that if you just search it out like on Google, it would be more helpful, because I haven't written a script so far. I have written a product video script, but again it was not for any person. It was just going to go with the text in an audio format.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for that question, Pinky. Ma'am, okay, we'll take the other follow-up questions later, ma'am. Okay. How does
Okay.
one reach out to clients and build a network in the writing community? Ma'am, am I audible to you? Ma'am, you're stuck. Hello? Ma'am, can you hear me? Participants wait for a few minutes because of the network error. Ma'am will join soon. Participants, we would like you all to stay. She'll be back in few minutes.
Devika?
Yes, ma'am, I'm there. Yeah, am I audible
Yeah,
to you, ma'am?
yeah. I'm really sorry. I guess internet got disconnected.
No problem, ma'am. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, what we were talking about? Yeah,
I
uh,
guess the
we,
next question.
yeah, we were in the next question. Like, how does one reach out to clients and build a network in writing the community? You were answering to that, ma'am.
No, I didn't start, I guess, on the same.
Okay. Yeah, we lost the track. Yeah.
Yeah, we lost the track. I'm really sorry, but this internet was, it just got hung up.
No problem, ma'am.
Yeah. Am I audible? Am I
Yes,
audible now?
ma'am, you are audible. So, how
Yeah.
does one
So,
reach out to clients? Yeah.
okay. So, reaching out to clients is pretty simple these days. You just get the access. You have the access to LinkedIn. You have the access to Twitter. You're just a DM away, like a direct message away, and they actually respond to you if your pitch is like good enough. Like you have to write a personalized pitch, I would say. Like a personalized pitch would mean that if you're asking someone to just hire you for a health writing gig, so you need to have something written on the same format. Like if you say them that you have experience in travel, you have experience in lifestyle, so that's not going to work over there, because they just need something related to their product, their service. So just like look out for people, like first of all just have a niche, and then after you have a niche, like in which niche you want to go, either it's fashion, it's entertainment, it's lifestyle. So you just pick down one or two niches and then just go deep into it, see what industries, what people you need, you have to work with. Just go and reach out to them through a DM, direct message, write a personalized note, tell them that you can help them in writing. And how you can help them, just show them your writing. Or if you don't have any, take something from their page, company page, and write it in your own way and just show it to them. That will just tell them that how much how much knowledgeable you are into the same field. And that would like eventually gain you as well a client. And it's not that only one call or one DM is going to get you clients. You have to just continuously keep doing it, keep mailing as well. Like use cold emails as well, where you just directly email to a certain client if you have their email ID. But you have to have a follow up as well. Like if you just say that I just sent out 10 emails a day and then I'm done, no, that's not going to work. You have to be consistent in pitching as well, and that will help you in gaining clients for long term in the same field.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for being so clear enough and
Yeah.
explaining your thoughts. Ma'am, there's one interesting follow-up question for you. Vinay Pavan has asked, "Hello, Dwani ma'am.
Mhm.
How can one be a okay? How is technical writer different from a content writer? What are the constructive challenges if one need to shift in his career in creative content writing?"
Okay, so technical content writer is a content writer. Like there's the term. So content writer is a content writer. See, content writer is like Google. It has everything in it. Google is everything. So you write everything. So you are a content writer. And when you say technical content writer, so that is limited to a certain, a very specific niche where it's everything technical, wherein you write in the technical industry, IT industry, or any software-based industry. So there you're just writing what they want their product to be delivered, and that is too different from creative writing, because technical writing you cannot use any jargons, you cannot use any terms, and we can say very cliche terms you cannot use over there. You have to be very blunt with your copy over there. You have to very be precise and specific. Whereas in creative writing, you get the freedom to just write your heart out. Whatever you're feeling, you can put it in so many beautiful words, and you can just write it out. Whereas technical writing, you just have to write everything based on a specific format. Like, for example, if I say that how can I rank on Google, so I cannot say that the sky is beautiful, the water is so lovely. No, there you need to be precise that how can you rank on Google. So you have to have a certain format and you have to research and you have to see how SEO works. SEO is the term engine optimization, and how it's going to help you in ranking. You have to just list it down. But when you go in creative writing, so there's the term is extremely, different. The world is different, I would say. You have so much freedom in creative writing, but technical writing, no. So that's why I'm not a technical writer. I can proudly say that.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. And
Yeah.
I hope your question is answered, Vinay, and thank you for the question. Well, moving on. What are the various fields a creative writer can be employed in?
Fields are like I would again say that you are not, you cannot limit yourself to a certain field, because writing opportunities are too many. And I'll tell you that right from writing I would say obituary to a marriage proposal, every field has somewhere you will see write up over there. Like even in you will see today, even product when they package it, product packaging, you will be seeing such enticing and good copies they write on the product package as well. So that is also a form of writing only. So there are no certain limitations that as this field you can go in writing, this field you cannot. There are so many fields, and every field I would say would require a writer. Every field, actually, see, whatever we are reading is written, and it's written by someone. So that is writing. That is a job of a writer. So whatever you see around, it's been written by someone. So that makes your job too easy, because you have so many diverse fields in front of you. You can just hop on anything which interests you, and that would make you a good money as well in the long run.
Thank you for letting us know that we don't have any restrictions to copywriting in the writing field. And
No,
definitely,
no, nothing.
people will have
Yeah,
assumptions, ma'am, like, okay, this is only restricted to this field. Okay, I'll not be able to take up. Thank you for being much more clear on that, ma'am.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah, do we have any questions? I'll just check. Yeah, ma'am, how do you handle criticism, ma'am?
Okay. So criticism I haven't faced yet. So I just take it
How can one
like
handle criticism?
if it applies to me, I take it. If it doesn't, so I just leave it. I never think about it again.
Very positive enough, ma'am. Very positive enough. Definitely, it imbibes the same strength in us as well, listening to your stories. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
So, as a creative writer, on what basis do you charge clients, and how do you ensure you're getting a fair compensation?
Okay. So writers writers job, initially I used to just work for peanuts, I would say. But now I just charge according to the time I have and according to the capability. Like it's been years I've been writing, so I just see that how can I profit, like I can make profit for the client. And then if I feel that yes, this is the particular amount, like I just say in simple words, that amount of time into the efforts which require you take to write a certain copy, and that would be your charge to a client. And I say that yes, sometimes I was not satisfied with the amount I was paid, but again I just made sure that next time I don't do that, and I charged more. I started charging more from there on.
Okay. Okay, ma'am. Like just one perspective question I would like to ask. Like,
Mhm.
yeah. Okay. So, what would you do? What further steps you could take, like for charging more? And because you're charging more, the clients would step back. Is there any scenarios like that, ma'am?
many, several, I would say.
Okay.
But again, that client didn't deserve your time, I would say,
Okay.
because you know your skills, you know that you have done good, you're doing good, and you are at a better position to actually bargain and ask for a price, a fair price, I would say. So then it's okay, it's their loss, I would say. So it's okay.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. So, ma'am, again, Vinay Pawan has raised a question. Okay, he has response like, thanks for the wonderful response that you gave earlier. And according to you, how to overcome plagiarism for micro content nowadays?
You cannot do that. You cannot do that because micro content is running these days. You just go and search right now on Twitter, go on any hashtag and search, so you'll find the same content written in 10 different formats, the same piece of content. You cannot do that. But what would make you stand out in the crowd? It's your personal opinion and your personal choice of words, and how people respond to it, whether they understand it, whether they don't, and whether they relate to it, basically. So if they are relating with it, so that's your, I would say, your victory. And if they're not, so you just need to polish yourself up. But you cannot stop plagiarism of your content. That is, I would say, you cannot do that, because everyone is right now, just creating content. So how do you think ideas come from? They just take 10 blogs, they just merge those 10 blogs and write a blog. So not everyone is a writer, there are mergers as well, people who merge content. So you cannot avoid it. You can just have your own distinct mark in writing and start writing. That's the thing you can do.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for responding. And I hope, Vinay, your answer is clear. Sorry, your question is cleared. Yeah, ma'am, we'll take the follow-up questions later. So what mistakes have you committed in your career as a writer that others could learn from throughout your experiences that you have made?
Okay, so first experience, like I would say, mistake was I didn't market myself. Neither I do now. I do go out telling people that I write content. I don't shout out. I just write content. I just put forward my content, my views, and I have been getting clients only from those posts of mine. I have not cold emailed anytime. I have not directly messaged any of my clients till now. Every of my client till date has been either a referral or either someone who has come from seeing and reading my post on LinkedIn and Twitter now. So they are just, they are just happy to be associated, and they just give me the project or the whatever work they have by seeing my post. So the first mistake, I would say, that if I market myself well, I know that the limit and opportunities are endless in the field of writing. So that I would count as a mistake. Second would be that saying yes to clients who drained energy but paid very low. Like I was not satisfied because I was not getting enough paid from that client, but I was totally exhausted, like working for them. So this culture should be avoided because it doesn't help you out anywhere. Even if you are getting paid, you are not happy about it. That doesn't help. So that I would call a mistake of mine, that I have started saying no to people where I feel that they are not paying me. So I just say no, and that would I call my second mistake. And the third would be not charging in advance, like not taking the amount in advance. So I have had certain clients who have I've delivered the work, but I haven't received payment till date. So I think that that's a thing every writer should, just keep in mind, that whenever you start writing, charge in advance, take total advance if you feel that the client is totally new. so you can avoid the glitches, from your end, and you can just work peacefully on the work given to you.
Thank you for sharing your wonderful experience with us, ma'am. Definitely, it paves the way for the young minds today, and that way,
Yeah.
especially in the creative field. Uh, yeah, Pawan has messaged, Vinay Pawan has messaged that it is very cleared, and he's thanked you. We
Thank you,
don't,
Pawan. Thank you, Renee.
yeah. Ma'am, there's one more anonymous attendee has asked, can we start an online workshop with the course completed certificate?
Okay, we can think about it.
Okay,
We can think about it and we can just start something. Yeah, sure.
okay. Yes, ma'am. Thank you. And yes, ma'am, wrapping the last question. In the
Mhm.
case of a creative rut or a writer's block, how do you overcome it?
I just leave it. I just leave it at that moment, and I start doing something, I would say, just to distract myself. I either read something or I just like listen to some music, but I just don't think about it. I make sure that I'm not thinking about the piece of content which I have to write, because that doesn't take me anywhere. I'm just, staring at the screen that it would just spill some words on its own, but it doesn't happen. So I just need to get out of that space. I just need to get my mind diverted somewhere else. And then when I come back again, it helps because I don't have those thoughts which I had while I was writing. And it gives me new perspectives as well and new thoughts as well. So this helps a lot. So you just get out of the situation, do whatever you want, but don't think about the write up you are writing currently, and then you're good to go. You won't have second thoughts, and even if it takes days for you to come back to the topic, like if your client is okay again, if your client is okay with it, so you can just ask for some more time, and you can just say that I'll get back to you when I again start writing, and then you can just start writing when you're done, and you just feel that yes, now I can again take that pen and paper or just go on and start writing on my computer. So you're good to go. That's the only way I would say.
What I felt, ma'am, what I felt is like from all the participants' perspective, one could say that your positiveness definitely has inculcated the same in us, that your positiveness through your works, through your experiences, and definitely was very happy to listen to your experiences, ma'am. You have
Thank you so
one,
much. Yeah.
you have one more question from Surbi.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. As a housewife, how do you manage time and take out time for work? How do you manage your work life and personal life balance, ma'am?
Okay. So for this, I have been very lucky because my in-laws and my husband is very cooperative. So and yes, I have a 5 months old son as well. So he's sleeping outside right now. So my in-laws are taking care of him. So I've been very lucky in that case because they are very cooperative, supportive, and they always give me time. And in fact, they always motivate me to do more and work more, and just be in the field and do something, like do something with the ideal time. The time, and I
Ma'am,
just put it in some good use. And that's the thing. That's how I balance my work and my life, I would say.
thank you, ma'am. Thank you for explaining this as well, brought in your personal experiences as well.
Yeah, thank you.
How do you deal with rewrite requests, ma'am, from the clients? Would you accept it or
Okay.
yeah?
Yeah, I do accept rewrites. Like if you talk about like if you're talking about something which I have written, so I give them edits. And if you have some some piece of article or some piece of content with you, and you want me to rewrite it, I do it as well. Yeah, I take it. Repurposing also I do, repurposing content. Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for being so explainable and clear, crystal answers that you have given. I guess,
Thank you.
okay, you have one more question. Can you tell a caption for Rahul Dravid ad? Ma'am, am I audible to you?
Some time to think on it. I certainly
Okay.
come back to this. Yeah, hello. Yeah, am
Yeah.
I audible?
Yes, you are, ma'am.
Yeah, so I would require some time to come back.
Yeah. Ma'am,
Yeah, but I can say yeah, I can, like, something struck me. Like, I can say that even the wall needs a break. Like, I
nice.
can just type it out so people can understand. I'll just type it out just a second.
Ma'am, type it in the all panelists and attendees space. Like you had to change that.
Okay. Okay. Done.
Yeah. Ma'am, we all have one more request from our side.
Okay. Just a second. I'm just done writing.
Oh, you already got a comment, ma'am. Awesome, ma'am. In very short time, such a catchy line.
Yeah,
Yes,
that
it
ad
shows.
has been very popular. Yeah, see, here you go.
Even the wall can break. Wow.
Like, have you seen that ad?
Mm,
I guess Cred's ad it is.
okay, okay. Ma'am, briefly, can you just
Thank you,
share?
Avinash. Yeah,
Can you hear me, ma'am?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, tell me.
Ma'am, very briefly, can you explain your or can you share your ghostwriting experience, ma'am? When checked through your profile, where it added much more to your website. So we would like to know about that, ma'am.
Ghostwriting, yes, I've been ghostwriting for so many clients, I would say. Initially, I used to write for companies wherein they just used to give us bulk articles, and bulk articles they would need, they would just give us certain number, I would say, 5 articles a week, I guess, and then we used to just write it out and send it to them. And then when I got enough traction on LinkedIn, so people used to ask me to write for them. Like, I used to write on their behalf on LinkedIn. So I used to write LinkedIn post as well. Who cannot or don't have enough time to just come down and write. So yes, ghostwriting has been a good journey because you just have to keep yourself in so many persons' shoes, I would say. Sometimes you are a business coach, sometimes you are a mother, sometimes you are a health expert. You have to be a health expert to write from their perspective. So that's what ghostwriting is, because you are not yourself, you are someone else and you're writing on their behalf. So it's been a good ride because I have had the privilege to don so many hats, so many professions I have lived while writing those things. So yes, it's been good, and it's every writer should ghostwrite because they know that they can write in these tones as well. They can write in these professions, and they have so many insights to share on these professional fronts, right, on different professional fronts as well. So it's very helpful for people, like for writers, for budding writers. They should start with ghostwriting, I would say. So that would give them enough confidence that they'll just go on and start developing their personal brand on LinkedIn.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for sharing such a wonderful experience with us. And yes, ma'am, we covered all the questions and you have answered all the follow-up questions that was asked.
Mhm.
Yeah. So, yes, ma'am. We have covered everything. Would you like to say something,
Okay.
anything else, ma'am?
No, I had fun. No, I had
Okay.
fun. This was my first session, as I told you. So I was pretty much excited but nervous as well because since I have spoken on stage many times. Like it was like in my college, it was like whenever something used to happen, like we were the first ones. Like a group of friends, we were the first one to just raise our hands and we'll go on stage. We'll go on stage. But when it comes on live, it was a bit intimidating because you're just seeing the screen and you're just talking to a screen, I would say. And you just know that people over there, you're not seeing anyone, right? You're like talking. So that was a bit intimidating, but yes, it was very. I enjoyed a lot, and I hope you did too, and all the attendees too.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. It was wonderful to have you today, ma'am. What took the session engaging was your constant smile that kept us active throughout the session, ma'am. And
Thank you so
definitely,
much.
definitely, you made this session as a fruitful session, as you pointed out in the beginning itself. Thank you for sharing such a beautiful experiences and your valuable inputs to all of us today. And we are very indeed of this, ma'am. And thank you all the participants for being so engaging enough in all the discussions that was made. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Devika.
Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
Siddharth, you can use the Rahul Dravid caption. I would be glad if you'll be using it.
Yeah, yes, ma'am. Everyone has thanked you and told it's a wonderful session and was gained a very important knowledge and they learned so many new things. Thank you so much, ma'am, for being helpful to all of us today.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting.
Thank you, ma'am.